Siobhan Kenny is beside me. She is a radio consultant. You may recognise her and remember her from Radiocentre in the UK, and they've just opened up in Ireland as well, the Republic.
They have as well. So there's a great guy running it called Kieran Cunningham, and we launched it in the Aviva Stadium about 10 days ago. It was great. We had Radiocentre branding all the way around that stadium just before the big semi-final.
How about that? How about that? Now, you were just speaking in a session there, and you were talking about women in media, the advantages, the disadvantages, and the trends that we've been seeing. 57% of the people that were polled, women, said that they have felt their gender has held them back in the radio industry. In what way?
Well, they felt particularly, I'd say the two reasons cited were clearly flexibility, and that, if they had childcare responsibilities, they found that it was harder for them to actually maintain their seniority, but also pay, so that had affected their pay quite badly. There was one anecdote about birthday cakes. So one woman said, I'm always the person who gets the birthday cakes, and it's never the guys. So I tried that one out on my husband, saying, is that true? And he said, yeah, that's because you don't care about birthday cakes and we don't. And I don't think that's true, because he eats the cake, I'm going to tell you.
So we were talking before we came on air about this, that the COVID may have changed that a bit, because now more flexibility, working from home. So what do you think for the radio industry are the benefits and the things that are bad that have come out of COVID?
Well, obviously we don't need to talk about the terrible things that have come out of COVID. If we hadn't, we would have been better off without a pandemic. Yeah. But some of the side effects are that all of our businesses had to change overnight, saying how are we going to run our businesses? We just can't do it. So the things that I think we'd said before, it's just too difficult, we can't do that, we had to do it. And we did change, and radio itself did very well at the beginning of the lockdown, as you well know, because of course everybody was at home, So radio listening did really peak at that time. It's dropped off subsequently as people are starting to return to work and so on. But I think the good legacy that it might have given us is that employers now have a different attitude to, so particularly women are asking for flexibility at a certain time in their life to look after children and so on. So I think if we can hang on to that, I think that's a real bonus.
And the technology was put in place quickly. They were forced to put the technology in for people to broadcast from home, to do remote work. So it would be easy to see that kind of continue on in some form.
I think that's absolutely right. And once again, it's the kind of thing that I think companies would have shied away from the investment that would have thinking, oh no, we can't afford that within this year's P&L. But an emergency persuades us all to behave in different ways. And once that's there, then it's, hopefully hard to row back from.
Before I let you go, Siobhan, to enjoy the rest of the radio conference, which is bustling here behind us, the big question always is, like you said, a spike in radio listeners across COVID, but dropping off a small bit again, with more revenue going to podcasts, more revenue going to Facebook and YouTube advertising. How are we clinging onto it in radio and keeping those dollars and euros and pounds coming in?
It's an interesting question, isn't it? Because people have been talking about it. I don't know, no problem at all. A great question. But people have been talking about the drop-off in radio for quite a long time. I'm still going to say 9 out of 10 members of the public listen to the radio once a week.
But are advertisers convinced of that?
Well, because the
other things are shiny and they have bells and whistles.
They do. And we know that advertisers love that. But it's incumbent upon radio to make ourselves shiny as well. Listen, we're 100 years old, aren't we? That's kind of difficult for most centenarians. But I think with all the amazing stuff which you'll be seeing over here in the next couple of days, what's not to be excited about, really?
What's not to be excited about, everyone, when you're talking to Siobhan here at the Radiodays conference? Thank you so much.
Thank you.